Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Well, so good evening, everybody. My name is Robin Chatskin. My husband is Michael, and we are here. Hi, everyone. We were just eating dinner. Okay. And we're here for the future, Friends Becoming Neighbors. And this is a very exciting meeting. And we have some new people here this evening coming in. So we're going to absolutely introduce everybody. We've got some exciting news from a couple of our members tonight, which we're really excited to hear about that. So without further ado, why don't we start with some of our new attendees this evening. If you can introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, if where your lot is, if you've chosen a builder, where you are. So maybe Andrew, you want to start? You guys want to start?
Sure. Hi, I'm Andy Teakin, and this is my wife Rebecca. We're in the suburbs of Cleveland right now. We're lot 407. We are with Haygood, and they should start breaking ground hopefully in the next month or so. We just finished up all our contracting and selections, and we're just waiting to get down to the warm weather.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Where is lot 407? Where is that?
It's on Flint Rock Road. It's in. It was just finished paving this summer.
Mm-hmm.
You're just down the road from me, Andrew. So welcome. I'm in lot 411. So I think we'll be seeing a bunch of each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, welcome.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, there's the.
Yep, I pulled up the map for everybody. I'm prepared. Okay, so let's get 407.
Yeah,
That's part of the new.
Right. We're right at the end of River Glen Loop.
Oh, over here.
Right there. Yep. Right there.
You need your new map, Robin.
No, this is, excuse me, that's the map. That's the map that they have on the website. And I did ask Mark the last time I was there if they were going to be upgrading the map. And he said, yeah, they should be doing it soon. But I haven't seen.
Don't we have one?
Yeah, they had posted a new one months ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's come back. Yeah. Because
That's from the website. I just pulled this up from the website. You have a newer map than that?
Yeah.
There's a new one out there with all the.
Yeah, it has 4B.
Yeah.
And it's our lot and a number of new ones.
Okay, we'll have to take a look at them. I'm wondering why. Maybe I have to refresh my website because I haven't opened that in a while. All right, so very exciting. So when do you guys plan? When are you hoping to be moving in?
Well, good question. They told us a year from when we made our selections, which was December, but we know how things go. So it's probably going to be at least a year from now, I would think.
Okay, very cool. It's gonna be busy. It's gonna be busy. So let's see, who else do we have here this evening? Carl, I think this is the first time you guys have been on.
Yes, hello. It's Carl and Kathy. We're from Greensboro, North Carolina. We're living in our apartment here in Leland Station. And Trust is our builder. And we're probably going to have the walls were finished insulating this week. And we're probably going to go to drywall starting next week.
Very exciting.
Yep.
Very exciting. And when are you thinking that you're hoping to move in?
Well, if we hold the contract, the end of May, early June.
Wow. Because I mean, it seems like Trust has been coming in. Vicki, you can speak to that.
We broke ground last July with Trust, and we're moving in on March 24th.
Yeah.
So like 8 to 9 months.
Wow. Which is
we're very pleased. Yeah, we're very pleased. It's gone well so far. And we're on lot 141.
Good experience as well.
I'm sorry, missed that?
I say we've had a good experience as well.
Super.
All the way through.
Good for you.
Which is great. Now, who else do we have here? So you feel free to jump in if anybody's here.
Mike and Ann?
Yep, and Mike and Ann. I feel like I know you guys already. I've been the chat from the other night.
Yes,
like,
38 comments.
Well, welcome.
Yes, hi. We're in Westchester, Pennsylvania. We're with
Southern Pines.
Southern Pines, lot 247.
246. 246.
46,
Somewhere.
47, now we're all neighbors. It's all good.
Yes,
Yeah.
one of the two
Well, we broke ground
in May,
in May, and I'm hoping that we're in there by
this May.
this May.
Okay,
I
and
want
where-
April.
And where are you living now?
An apartment.
And apart, we
In
sold our
Westchester.
house too soon. Wish I would have known, we would have held on to it a little longer. But yeah, we sold it in October of 21. Yeah, October 21. And so now we're in a 1-bedroom apartment with a very crazy dog.
Fun.
So I don't understand why I haven't lost a ton of weight because I have to walk this dog 75 times a day. So that's not working out, but he's happy. So
Can't wait to get down there.
yeah.
No, it'll be great.
Yeah.
So, is anybody else getting close? Because I know we've got a bunch of people that. So Vicky, you want to share your news?
My news, yeah, we're gonna have our walkthrough on March 17th. Like Janice described, we're with Trust as well, and then we close on the 24th. So we're debating, I think we're in New Jersey now. I think we're gonna go down the 17th, stay for that week until the closing, and then come back and pack up our stuff and move down. So we'll be down the end of March. Thank you. Exciting. All of a sudden, when I got the email today, your walkthrough is on the 17th, which is 3 weeks away. It was kind of like,
That's
wow,
great.
it's happening.
Yeah.
It's all happening. It's all happening pretty fast. Hey, Jack, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So let's see what's been going on. We heard from the Balcombs. What's been going on? Bill, did you guys start building yet?
Are you talking to me, Robin? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we have not started building yet. We got a little bit of a surprise. If anybody's heard the term adverse lot conditions, you have to be afraid of that. I'm really interested if anyone else has had this particular experience, especially Hagen builders. We went through the selection process. We're finalizing all of the selections. And then on the estimate appears a bill for adverse lot conditions. No, it's what you would see. I mean, it's to affix the house in a way to the slope so that you won't ever have any water problems. It is what it sounds like. It's the bill that really has impacted me and the timing of the bill. The bill is $30,000. So it really gives you pause. I don't know how many other people that have built on what looks like a perfectly normal lot have gotten figures anywhere close to this.
And we were told it was perfectly.
My son lives in the lot next to me and he's getting a bill for $23,000. The builder is Hagen, so I'm especially interested here in what Andrew may have to say, because he's at about the stage I was when all of a sudden they sprung this on me, so.
I asked you a question. When you bought the property, there was no way of knowing?
No exceptions like with the lot or,
If you stood in front of the lot and looked at it, it pitches slightly away from the road, you'd say, this is a perfect lot.
yeah.
As we were told.
The gentleman who we dealt with, Mark Wilson, who we bought the property from, and you folks did too, had no idea that anything like this was involved. The salesperson is Josh Adams for Haygood, and he admitted himself that he didn't see any issue with it. So I'm a little bit baffled here for people that build 100 houses a year that something like this could sneak up at this point.
Bill, we just finished our selections. In fact, we signed off our CSA and SSA with Haygood just on Monday.
Okay.
So it's been a long iterative process. We came down in January to actually do our 3 days worth of meetings, but at that time they had a placeholder, an estimate for our lot. And once again, you look at our lot and think it's reasonably flat. It does slope from front to back, crests up from the street and then rolls off gently, maybe drops 2 feet towards the back. But they did have a $12,000 placeholder in there as an estimate. For the line item that you're talking about, but there was also one for the footings. That's
Exactly the same thing I'm running into.
So the TBD is, they said they won't know until they actually dig for footings, what it's going to cost.
And you're also with Haygood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering if this is builder specific.
Well,
And
that
we had
Well, I know that we had no clue because our land was so, well, you see the land, but what it used to look like behind me, it was also filled with trees. And then when they went out to take a look at the land, evidently they had to build up our foundation, like, what was it, Michael, like 5 feet or so?
I don't remember how many feet, but we didn't realize it, that the property actually going from left to right slopes down a little bit, but the thing's 90 feet wide. And when you look at 90 feet standing in front of a wooded lot, you can't see anything until the builder goes out there. And he did apprise us, Robin, even before, we signed, that there's going to be some buildup of the land. It wasn't going to be $20,000 or $30,000.
No.
But he knew that he had to account for, let's call it building up that side a little bit more with just a little bit higher footing or foundation on the right side.
One of the things that's driving foundation and footing costs in this neighborhood is that they're mandating that you have 3 steps up to get in your front door. All homes do. So that impacts the cost of doing a foundation.
Yeah, I heard that as well from Haygood. At first I was saying, well, why don't you just bring in a bunch of fill and build on that? And I guess as far as the footings, he only wants to put the footings onto virgin ground. He doesn't want to put it on anything else for long-term stability. So that's his reason for not doing one thing or another. We went back and forth, do you put in a lot of fill? You have a crawl space below the house? All of them expensive options for something that, you don't expect. You sort of build your house to the maximum that you can, so you're going to enjoy it. You're going to love everything about it. And then at the last minute, they whack you aside the head. So we're working it through with them. We're being pleasant with each other here at this point. And Randy, I guess I'm a little bit encouraged. I'm not the only guy that's being hit with this, at least. So I got some company here on this. It's
The full bill yet.
We haven't seen the bill yet, so
yeah,
a little concerned. We were a little concerned just because we felt like we were at the tip of Haygood building. Now they signed a lot of contracts almost simultaneously, right? They had a lot of people come on.
I don't understand.
But it's been hard to share experiences because we're all kind of coming into this at the same time.
right.
Bob, I was going to reach out to you just, because you've been there for a while. Any of this sound familiar to you? Has this been an issue going along? Have you heard this before?
I've heard it from people that needed to build retaining walls, but they were notified prior to selecting their house plan.
Wow.
And there are some that have spent 50,000 or more on retaining walls.
Wow. And so for those of you who are new, Bob is our resident expert on all things Bluffs. He's been there how many years now?
Almost 3 years now. It went by quick.
Yeah, it goes by very quickly. Hopefully we'll all be, we'll be in. So he every once in a while he kind of comes in so that we can ask those kinds of questions. But I'm wondering, when they do these surveys, shouldn't some of these things be on the lot? Should be on the lot map, the site maps, Randy? I feel like
You would think so, but this is our first house build.
Yeah.
Been through this before, and yes, it's the first time we're building kind of at this level. We've always had a basement. Well, no, the first house was a slab, but with basements, it's a little different story. You're creating, the space. You're digging down to the virgin ground to put a foundation in or footings in. Yeah, like Bill, you look at the lot and you see,
It's flat.
this looks like it's, we were very thrilled. We're walking around looking at other lots we could have purchased. We feel like, well, we really did very well with getting a flat, reasonably flat lot. So we were surprised to see, one cost put in there already, and then there's a TBD that we're not going to have resolution on until we're so far down the road, we don't have a choice but to commit to it. So I don't think there's any, it could be that it's something specific to the way Haygood builds a home. I'm not sure if some other builder on that same lot would, claim to have the same costs.
Has anyone else had the same problem other than Haygood Home?
Nicole, you guys are upside down.
Are we?
Ah,
How do you fix that?
Well, I mean that literally, not figuratively. Jack, you've been shaking
look
your
at us.
head. It sounds to me like you have some kind of insight into this as well.
I don't know if I've had insight, but in Southern Pines contracts, there are some sections in there around lot treatment, things, drainage and clearing of trees and various things. And in my inquiry with Ted, knowing the lot, he assured us that there's nothing unusual that needed to be done in terms of backfilling or retaining walls or anything like that. And all if there were some cost associated with doing something associated with the lot, it was included in the price that he gave us in the home. So there wasn't a line item to be assessed that I'm, such as described with the Haygood process.
Right.
I don't know if that's natural or unnatural, but that's my experience.
It could be the pricing model that they're using, it's, you nothing's free, all right? You're going to pay for it one way or another. There's either a cost built in, assuming some level of adverse conditions that they're going to have to mitigate, or you assume everything's perfect and then charge later. And it seems like following that model.
It's interesting because Bill, your house is pretty much almost over that little creek from ours. Like, you're always just right on the other side of that road. So our property slopes down into that little water thing and then comes up on the other side. So you're almost exactly on the other side of that. And that was the side where our land dipped a bit.
Yes, but it's so far back behind us, I don't think it really impacts too much, I mean, if the water is gonna run by my house, it would run down that big embankment at the very back, the same way that yours would.
So what stage did you learn about this in the process? Like, you had, I'm sure you passed architectural design. Was this engineering design where they learned about the slope of the land and everything, or what stage is it where you at?
Well, we went down for the final selections, made all of our final selections, and then they start to send back to you all of the additions for all of the other contractors, lighting contractors, and the landscape person and so on. They send all that information back to you. Included with that was the $30,000 bill.
Oh my God.
All right, but you don't. Do you know, was it like when the engineers actually got out there and they're actually, like plotting where the foundation is going to be, and that's how they discovered it?
It had to be the Haygood people in one of their final surveys, because they were able to rattle off to me the elevation of every point of my house. We had the conversation with them in the middle of this week was when it really came to a head, and we realized what we were in for. So the timing is about as bad as it gets. And again, there's one more TBD, as Randy's saying, for the footers themselves,
Right.
whether or not they have to engineer the footers, which means I don't know, they got to go a little bit deeper, they got to fill with stone or gravel, they got to make the footer wider, they got to make the footer deeper, they have to put in more rebar or whatever. We're not going to know. We don't have a clue until they dig down. So I mean, talk about as late as you can possibly know something.
So it sounds like the number that we had an estimate in our signed CSA that was 10,000 something. Yours was 30.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
right, yeah.
So Robin, I don't think we even have a line item for that kind of thing. I don't remember seeing one.
No, but so what ended up happening, was I remember that when our builder went out to actually walk the
Yes.
lot, he said to us, yeah, you've got like a 5-foot slope or whatever. And we hadn't really noticed it because it was all trees. Like, but he walked it and he knew it. And now when we saw it, when they cleared some of the trees, I mean, you can actually see that it sloped, and where our house was going to be on the piece of land, it was in our, I think on our first, estimate, when we got our first deck with our bill, there
Mhm.
was a line item for building up the foundation so that it would be even, so that the house wouldn't, that everything would it wouldn't kind of like slide to the right. So that was where it all came in. Like, there was nothing after the fact.
We saw that, Rocco, when the builder gave us our plans in elevation view, and we finally saw the front of our house based upon, all the designs we had, it was actually drawn into the plan where you could see that it slopes, well, assuming that the plan is drawn accurately, that you could see that it sloped off, that the right side of our house has kind of a higher level of support than the left side.
And that was the architectural plans you're talking about.
That was the architectural elevation plan.
All right, because we just got through all that and we're in the engineering plan phase now. So I'm just wondering if this is something that still could be coming up, or we passed the architectural plans and, Jeff walked our lot and he didn't mention any issues. He said it was a very low, none of this was mentioned.
So our situation was, we bought a lot. We bought one that was a resale and lot. And so our builder said, there's a possibility that you might have to have a retaining wall. And we knew from walking it that it did drop. I didn't go back in the woods, but he did. So we knew it dropped down. And we said, well, let's just wait and see. And so once the house started coming up and was up for a while, we could see that there was runoff. And the builder said, you can do whatever you think is necessary. If you are concerned about the runoff on the sides of the house, that you think there's going to be an issue, we will build you a retaining wall. I mean, obviously we pay for it, but we decided, because we've heard of people before that moved into a place and then they started getting all this runoff and it tore up the lawn and there were issues. And but it was up to us as to what we wanted to do. So he had just said, you might want to, you don't have to. And we chose to do it. And so we added that into the plans. Having built as many times as we've built, my advice to anybody that's building is, hey, just take an extra $50,000 and put into something and know something is going to come up, whether it's your outside, inside, whatever you change your mind about, you're going to end up spending more money than you were counting on. So, so we love the way our backyard looks now. And so we're very happy, but yeah, we did have to pay for it. But I think it wasn't a major problem on the sides of our house, but we could tell after a couple of months of it being the foundation that the water was running off and we could possibly have an issue. So that's something you just don't want to deal with 6 months to a year into having to dig. That's when you really don't have any money, because you've already decorated and put your shutters up and everything else. So if you think there's going to be an issue, it really is ideal to get it done in the front than on the back.
So Nina, how's your build going?
I think okay. I was one of the people affected by this Rugworks fiasco, so I still don't really know what's going on with that. The flooring I'm not so worried about, but the tile, we did all the tile selections with them also, so I haven't had a chance to even figure out anything yet, but they were doing the electrical for the last 2 weeks, as far as I know, and I think the next thing they start in is the heating. But I think we're behind schedule anyway, but I don't know how this other thing is going to affect us. Literally having the rug pulled out from under you is like what I would call it. So
And hopefully that's, and I was really excited and very happy that you guys had, I'm not happy that you guys are going through it, but really kind of happy that you guys had the team reach to be able to have the conversation, with each other. And I was just waiting to say, Tim is like the Energizer Bunny. I was like, it was 11:25, 11:30. I'm like, oh my God, I felt so terrible for all of you, but I'm really glad that you had each other to at least share information with. And thank you for everybody who's here. And in those of you who kind of like tapped in. And hopefully
one interesting thing on the heels of that, Robin, is just based on several things. I went on to Rugworks site. And I never did this before. I looked at their reviews and some of the reviews weren't so great. And I never looked at it before. And I generally don't do this, but I went on and gave them a bad review. I said, on Google, I said, we were just made aware of a situation where our builder and his vendor Rugworks have parted ways. And I said, it would have been really nice since we made our final selections in September.
us too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand how it goes retroactively. It's one thing you want to break the relationship prospectively, but to have people like, we thought everything was like already being ordered.
Absolutely.
Like, I just have no.
Well, that's the interesting part though. I emailed them at least once a month in September, because when we were there, they kept telling us, you really got to be careful because, actually the second time we went, we had to change our selections because one of the things we picked previously, they couldn't get anymore. So that's why I was a nervous wreck. And I was like, okay, every month I'm emailing them. I just want confirmation that everything was ordered. They would never get back to me. So when this happened, and I was asking Ted too, he wasn't really responding on that either, but to me, it was up to Rugworks to tell me that. When I did the bad Google review, he emailed me, the main guy at Rugworks emailed me and has called me 3 times today. And I said to my husband, I'm going to call him back as quickly as he's called me back.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're paying attention that I gave you a bad review.
And is he the owner? Because he's the one, I think he's the one we met with, because the saleswoman we were supposed to meet with called in sick that day. So at the last minute, he was the one who did all our stuff with us. And we got it done in under 3 hours, which he said was amazing. But is that the guy who owns the company?
I think so.
Rob Kennedy. But
yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah, they're all super nice.
Very nice. But they never, ever got back to us. She emailed them numerous times and they just never came back to me.
I just want to share for a moment because we talked to Ted, and I think Jack had put a note on Team Social. We had talked to Ted last week.
2 or 3 days.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days ago. And he shared with us the trouble that he had with Rugworks, and that he had a lot of clients that were upset, and Rugworks couldn't really manage the workload.
Right.
And so he felt like he just had to cut the cord. They were, I'm just going to say what he said, that they were very rude to him. Yeah. He's the builder. He's bringing them the customers, right? So, good for you that you did the Google review, because Ted just had it. That's really, and I'm sorry to whoever was saying that they're kind of in the middle of it, right? But yeah, he really was just done with them.
what gets me upset is we had everything picked.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
heard.
Cut it out.
And now I'm not really
Really?
sure. I mean, I
You know
think
what
I
I'm
read
saying?
Now you're gonna
something.
wonder, did you?
Well, somebody posted something about that we're not the customer, Ted is the customer.
Yes.
So is
Yeah.
like he has a copy of everything that we ordered. He has
Yeah.
our whole estimate. Is he just gonna now find a place to do that? Or like, do I have to go out and start all over?
Yeah, no,
We just heard that,
there's, I don't know if Marlene, is she on the call?
Yeah.
Marlene Morshauser?
Or-
No, she wasn't able to come this evening.
Anyway, there's a note on the team reach that they went to USA Flooring there in Wilmington. Apparently, I'm not clear yet whether that's the new
Final.
authorized final subcontractor for Ted, but apparently they're in the game now. And today had a good experience from one of the other members.
They really raved kind of about US.
And did anybody have a tile suggestion? Because I'm
I
more
think they
concerned
do
about the
both.
tile.
I think
Oh,
they
yeah.
do both. Yeah.
At least their website shows tile as well. Now, I haven't talked with them yet, but
Okay.
They have tile, carpet, and flooring.
Oh,
I
okay.
just-
I just went through the 48 comments on that thread on the TV website.
Yeah, there you go.
And for rugs, they had Port City carpet. For tiles, they had Southeastern Tile and Benson Painting. And then USA Flooring, I wasn't sure if that was for rugs or tile.
They do everything.
Okay.
I think it's
You know what, though, before Ted cut ties, which I completely understand why he did, get your ducks in a row first. And so once you cut the ties and then you let everybody know this is who we're going to be using. Because I was having,
But you know what? Here's the
I can understand that.
Ted emailed us.
Yeah.
And he said, I have all your selections and I'm gonna order it. He said, I'm gonna order it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he did or not.
I just reach out to them, just.
I did. For 2 days, I haven't got a response.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, he's got a lot on his plate. I get that, but.
Yeah. It does usually take him 2 days, and he usually does it at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So I wouldn't hesitate, tomorrow or whatever, to reach out again and just say, hey.
I'm giving him a break right now because I'm sure he's getting inundated with everything that's going on, which is, it's creating your own problems. You have
Well, that's my thought too. A little just.
Yeah, I mean, I totally
He
agree.
is who he is. The company is what it is. He doesn't have a robust communication strategy.
That's the understatement of the year.
I'm being generous.
But he makes up for it in the quality of the house.
He builds a pretty house, but.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
We keep focusing on that. What's it going to be like this time next year when we're actually there?
I hope I'm in the house this time next year. I'm getting really discouraged at this point.
I know.
Well, we're all going to Tim's house for margaritas, right? Wasn't that the invitation, Tim? We're all going to you for margaritas next year?
July 2026.
No. No, so Lori, I see you guys just came in. So, welcome. So you want to tell us where you guys are in your build, who you're building with?
We're not building yet. We're with Kent and we're planning to break ground in April sometime.
Wonderful.
We're pretty early on.
Okay, so the Williams have been very quiet. I've been watching your faces. You've been very quiet this evening. You want to give us a?
We have. I'm Debbie, is my husband, John. We live in Leland and we are building on 365. So we're right down the road from you. We're going with Trust Builder Group and we should be breaking ground here hopefully at the end of April, May. We're waiting for the stupid road to be paved and finished.
Yeah.
So we can move it.
Robin?
Yes.
Debbie, did you say 367?
365.
What road is that?
Orange Manor.
Oh, we're on Orange Manor.
Yes, I know. That's what I said to Debbie. You guys, I said, if we have, I was waiting for that all to.
Oh yeah, we're the first one on the corner on the right.
Okay, we're on 367.
Oh, awesome.
And we
So
finally, we're like, we haven't heard anybody on our street.
Well, I know the people like in between us is getting ready to build, and I think somebody across the street is going to be building soon too.
We were told that there's only 2 lots that don't have build contracts in the whole cul.
Oh, okay.
They're sold, but they don't.
There's,
have
all the lots are sold, but
Yeah.
only 6 of the 8 have build contracts.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I'm glad we kind of will get it all done at one fell swoop, you know?
Exactly.
No, absolutely. So yeah, so the Webbers who had been here before actually sold their lot. I got a message from them that they have sold it to somebody. So we have new next door neighbors, haven't met them yet. So we've got, Vicky's gonna be moving into to the left, then I have a new neighbor next to me, then us, and then the Shanahans are on the other side. So everybody will be able to walk back and forth, and hopefully we'll all be down there somewhere around the same time. But I'm being told, has nothing to do with the road being paved. The road is the least of my problems right now. It's just a matter, we're waiting for the water permits to all get through, and
Electric.
Yeah, but now we heard we heard that we had utility and we had sewer, but now we've heard that and we also heard that we don't.
That is correct.
So is it at, like, Orange Manor has it? And
So it's really interesting, because I'm getting 2 or 3 different opinions, and
Me
I don't know
too.
whether anybody else, and because most of you are building in areas that have already been built up, so it's not like they had to do something.
right.
They were in it sounded to me like the water permits had not been put in, and that was the problem. And it takes time. First it has to go to the state, and then after it goes to the state, it has to go to the
Well,
county.
here's what our builder told us, because we had a nice conversation with him a few days ago. He first told us that all the construction equipment can get down the road, even though it's not paved, not a problem. He says, you have electricity now. However, in connecting your water, to connect your water, they had to do something and disconnect the electricity, connect the water, and then go back in again at some point and reconnect your electricity. None of that has happened. Interspersed with that, the requirements for all the permits for each one of those phases. But all in all, he said it should go quickly. We've heard that story before.
I know this was going to happen in August.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sure.
And what they're basically telling us is, or what Jeff, our builder, has told us, is that he feels confident that in about a month, sometime in March, all those permits and all those connections will have been made, that he can actually start in March. So that's what he's telling us.
Our contract was supposed to have been sometime between August and October. So that just shows you where we are.
We're 6 months late, at least.
We're running 6 months late, late on that. And we were all worried about our road. So
now our contract was written in for September start date. Doesn't say when, oh no, March. Doesn't say when in March, but it just says March. And he's still saying, as of a week ago, that, it's very end of March, early April is what we're looking at. I mean,
which is not
they're
bad.
still saying it.
We signed our contract a year ago,
Yeah.
February, that we signed our house contract.
We signed in what, October,
Yeah.
September, October?
Somewhere in there.
So it's all, it's all gonna happen now, Suzanne, because I know that, you were supposed to be in March as well. What kind of information have you been hearing?
Well, we're going down March 20th, so.
Yep.
We haven't really corresponded or anything like that, but we're going down there in March 20th.
Are you going there to do your
Selections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be interesting. So there's
We
gonna be a
haven't done our
whole bunch
interior
of
yet.
us down there.
We've just done our exterior selections. We're waiting on the interior.
Okay, so they're gonna let you wait?
Well, I don't know. We just haven't scheduled.
We kind of
just said we can't get down there to do it all in one sitting. And let's wait.
It sounds like March is very busy for them anyway, because I know, Suzanne, you're going there, right? And then I think, Robin, you're going also?
I'm going, but we're not going to do something with them. We're flying into Raleigh to go look at granite.
Oh, that's right.
But I mean, let's be honest, they need exterior to submit to the bluffs and everything. They don't need interior to start job.
No. So it's all.
I'm not being pressured.
Yeah.
No, it's, you know, it's not even a matter of that. I think that the frustration that, you know, that we're kind of hearing from everybody who is in the middle or starting, that delays are inevitable. I
Yeah.
think it's very interesting that, you know, trust seems to be able to be coming in, you know, on time, on target, on time.
Mhm.
And which is, you know, I'm glad to hear it. There are some other people, so the Petries are moving in, beginning of March, I think. That was the Kent model home that in December had the open house. So they are gonna be actually moving into their house. And yeah, it seems it seems to be a lot of activity. I know that some of the stuff that's been coming across the Bragg group, and Bob, you know, you and I see all these same articles. You know, the issue has been also about the trucks and things coming in the front gate. I know that people are working on that. For those of you who've been watching some of the information, we were giving the builders until I believe the beginning of March to kind of get their act together. That seems to be an ongoing issue. I haven't really been seeing anything else monumental going on. I think the mailbox, the debacle of the mailbox, I think now we have a step stool over there, if I heard
Have you seen
correctly.
the mailboxes? Because I'm pretty short and I had no problem reaching the top mailbox at all. I don't really understand why it's like such a big deal.
Bob, do you want to speak to that?
I mean, I can see if you're in a wheelchair or something, I
That
can
I
see
can
that. But
understand
if you're,
totally. But other than that, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that far out of reach.
Well, I think you're mute. You can tell I spend half of my half of my life on Zoom calls. So
Need one of those
one of my
signs.
friends sent it to me.
Wow, I've got to make one of those.
You like that, huh?
I
Okay.
like it.
I'll make sure I'll get a whole bunch of them and I'll bring them down with me. Yeah, it works.
I also need one saying you're not on mute.
My husband is actually trying to find somebody who will sell them a mute button that he can just have around my neck and push it every time he needs to mute me. So if you find one of those, I'm sure that he'll be very happy to be your first customer.
It's like
So
duct tape. Duct tape.
Bob, do you want to speak to the height of the mailboxes?
I think it's dying down now. I think people sometimes throw words on Facebook before they think.
So we don't have to go buy back scratchers for getting our mail out.
To get your mail out. So,
No, I like the one. No, it was one of those little, like the things that I pull the stuff off of. They have the little crimpy things. And the other thing that seems to have been a big issue, you know, it was this charge for the keys.
That's what I was gonna say, the cost of the key
Yeah,
for the
that,
mailbox.
Yeah, that seems ridiculous. I mean, when you think about it, it's a month's dues for a key that you buy the lot from the Bluffs. I mean, it seems ridiculous. I mean, it's $100, so it's not the end of the world by any means. But I mean,
$50 would be a lot better.
well, it shouldn't be anything. The Bluffs should be able to handle it in the sales office on their own. They're selling you the lot, and they should be able to hand you the keys when you close.
That's part of the.
How many closings do they have a month? I mean, 10, 15 tops, 20 maybe? It's completely manageable.
I agree.
And isn't the POA the one that's responsible for managing that?
Who runs the POA?
if-
Who runs the POA?
Exactly, thank you. I was like, wait a minute, if we're the property owners, don't we get a say on how much we should have to pay for our key, for our mailbox, and
Well,
for
This
the
is
person
someone's
who
uncle or cousin or somebody's
For the
family member.
person who is short and actually needs, the fact that they cannot move the mailbox to accommodate, you know, that person or those persons, it's unreasonable. It's just ridiculous.
Well, again,
That's
and I
the
don't.
postal service.
That's the post office. And I didn't want to make this a big to do. I think that, first of all, and Bob, I'm practicing because you know, when you come to, if you're able to, and especially for some of the newer people, if you can get to the POA meeting, in December, it's definitely something to put on your calendar because you understand a lot more. The big issue is right now, the property owners association is being managed by the developer. Eventually, what did he say, when 85 or 90% of the properties are sold, it's being handed over to the homeowners, and then it becomes an HOA, right? So right now it's being managed. This is an ongoing thing. And as far as moving mailboxes around, that's definitely, because I grew up in an apartment and my mailbox was always on the very, very bottom, and and everybody else was over me. So that's something that's a post office issue. And there was, I think it was in one of the notifications that the previous postmaster or whatever of Leland had approved mailboxes. And I remember, Bob, they were all over the community. They were in different stations, right? And then the new person came in and said, they all have to be in one place.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon. It's also not uncommon that you get charged if you're a new resident. I know River Bluffs, where I was, it was $400.
Wow.
But each neighborhood's different.
So,
And for packages, I mean, where do the packages end up?
You get a key in your little mailbox to open up a big box that has your package.
Only if it's USPS, but only if it's USPS. I was told that FedEx and UPS deliver to the door.
Right. And the post office will also deliver packages that are too big for the big box to your door.
Just make big orders.
And I also think one of the other issues that I think that is it a 2 mile? Is it a 2 mile from the mailbox radius that the post office will only
Too big.
deliver within a 2 minute? And that was one of the reasons that the mailboxes couldn't have been moved around the community afterwards, because they can only go from the mailbox to. I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of these things, and it's going to be very interesting when there's how many, 600-700 homes and one area for the mailboxes. So
Yeah, that makes no sense.
I don't think you're going to have a problem.
no,
Experience it first, and then, but it's common among the neighborhoods here that you have one central mailbox.
I mean, we went there and saw the new mailboxes. It looked fine. I mean, it was
Yeah.
spacious. It was I didn't see any issues with it at all. And like my wife said, she's 5 foot and she could reach the top mailbox.
and
no
Nicole,
problem
your
at all.
mailbox will probably be all the way on, on the bottom. Is it done by numbers of where the lots are?
We looked at ours.
Yeah.
Ours is like
Right in the
second or third from the top.
Yeah, second or
Yeah.
third row from the top. They're already all assigned when the
Okay.
mailman happened to be there, and he had them all,
Yeah.
the backs all open, so where he was putting the mail in. And everyone has the address, the street, the street and the address, stamped in the inside.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you can see where yours is.
Okay, so the Coxes have been very quiet this evening. Look, I think they're having some fun at the beach over there. Are you guys still there?
Yep, we're still here.
So what's been going on with you?
Well, just an update on the whole Rugworks fiasco. We had we came down last week for our electrical walkthrough, and I tried to call. I sent an email to Dane at Rugworks. She wasn't responding. Left messages. She wasn't responding. I had called one day last week when we were there on Thursday, and she was pretty much telling me I was too late for tile. I should have had it picked out already because we just got done being framed. But the week of Thanksgiving, she told me I was way too early and I couldn't select anything because the same problem that other people mentioned, pick a tile and find out it's discontinued. So I posted on Team Reach that, we finally decided to hire an interior decorator, which has been wonderful. If anybody's needs some help with anything like that, paint colors, furniture, etc., it really comes in handy. But we end up going to Southeastern Tile. And their employees are fantastic, very helpful, much nicer selection than what Rugworks have. So if you have a major selection yet, I would definitely encourage you to go there. A lot more variety. And then we also went to USA Flooring, talked to Jeff. He was very accommodating as well. A lot of selection there for, like I said, for tile, carpet, flooring. He followed up with emails, he followed up with pictures. So it's worth the visit to both those places.
Can I ask you real quick, did either of those places tell you what the lead time is to get all that stuff in now?
Well, I've been chatting with Marlene, who was posting some stuff as well, and she's 2 months ahead of us in the build. And her husband met with Ted yesterday for like 3 hours, and she's going down in April, and she's still okay in April to pick her tile. And he's saying most tile, longer it's in stock, is 5 to 7 days to come in. And that's the same with, LVP if you're going that direction.
So Nina, so you're dealing now with floors and with tile and nothing is ordered?
Well, no, I mean, the order, I have a copy of what we ordered when we were there, but apparently the order was never placed. I mean, I don't know that it would have been placed because I don't think we're at the point where they would have ordered it yet, but we did have one tile when we met there that they said it needed at least 14 weeks because it was some, hard to get tile, which was just a general tile, I couldn't imagine, but that was the only one that really seemed to be like that was going to have to be ordered ahead of time, but I don't know what the normal ordering time is for tile. Like, I don't know. I don't think we're at the stage yet to need it, but you need the flooring for sure first. So
yeah, if it's in stock, because we ordered some tile about a year ago and we ordered on a Thursday and it came in like a Monday.
Well, that's
so as long as it's in stock, it's very quick. So
I still have the order sheet. I don't make any sense of it because I don't understand half the abbreviations, but hopefully a new tile place will be able to figure it out. So.
Did Ted say that he would like call it in?
To duplicate your
order and
that's what he's telling us.
That's what he's
I haven't even touched base with him on it. I woke up to the 50 messages. Like, I went to bed and then woke up the next morning and there were like 50 messages on the team reach app, and I thought, oh my God, what has happened? That 50 messages came in overnight. I have not had a chance to even reach out to him. I talked to him like a week ago about other stuff because we're trying to order light fixtures and fans and everything, and I'm not sure of the ceiling heights in some of the rooms. So, but that was before this all blew up. So had I known, I would have asked him about it.
Wow.
I know it's go ahead, go
It's
Jack.
exhausting. It's exhausting, and I will never, ever, ever build another house from scratch ever again.
I'm sorry, I didn't, Cox's, would you mind tossing the names of those vendors or suppliers in the chat for us?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll post it in. You want to post it in this chat or on the Team Reach?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll put in Team Reach.
We might be interested in the interior decorator as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I think there was one of them that was in Team Reach. Somebody, I think you had posted that before. And I think Marlene had somebody that she was working with as well. So yeah, no, but I'm glad that we have the Team Reach. The races are back. Okay, so yeah, so we're actually going up to and we're very early with it. We thought that we'd be much farther ahead, by March, but we're going to head up to Raleigh to go take a look at some of the places up there, and there's also some tile places up there as well. So I think Doll Tile is up there. There's a couple of other places, so we're going granite shopping. So it'll be interesting.
We're not helping this time.
What?
I said, we're not helping this time.
No, I know, but I'm happy to help you. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you. I carried home huge slabs of samples, and I'm thinking, oh, what was I thinking? I don't know what I'm thinking. Did you guys actually pick out granite yet?
Oh, we picked out every damn thing there is.
You did.
Listening to everybody talk, how different the different builders' processes are.
Yeah.
And each one has its own pitfalls. Like with us, you have to pick every single thing before and sign off on it before they'll start working on plan drawings.
Oh,
So
wow.
we know down to the hardware on all the cabinets, cabinet design,
gosh.
flooring,
That's so hard to do when you don't know
all
your house
colors,
yet.
everything's picked up.
So Nadine, what granite won?
Well, I personally didn't think that Haygood had a vast selection. Everything was very, very white and gray and neutral. We've made a selection for the bathrooms that I selected from what they had to choose from. But what I want for the kitchen is more of a specialty selection, which is they're charging us a kind of a large upcharge for.
Wow.
And they're telling us
Wasn't as large as I thought.
they're telling us now that we can't even go to select our slabs, that we have to pick from a photograph. So
Oh my God.
I know I'm not done with that
No,
yet.
well, we
That's
know
not
who
happening.
we know who the fabricator is, and I think we can make an appointment with them to go look at the slabs, just as easily as them sending us pictures. So.
Yeah, so we're going to a couple of places up in Raleigh. We're going to Schneiderstone. We're going, and then there's a couple of them that they work with up there as well.
Yeah, Haygood uses Worldstone.
Worldstone.
And that's kind of in that Raleigh area as well. And I don't know, anybody else that's using Haygood, did you have a similar feeling as far as your selections, what they had to pick from?
We went with a quartz, and the quartz that they had happened to be close to what we were looking for, so it was pretty easy. The house I built here 4.5 years ago that I'm in now, I mean, we spent days, and going to different vendors and picking it out. So I can certainly sympathize with you here, when you have something different in mind than the standard features. So I was pretty happy with the designer I work with at Haygood. So,
we were too.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
we chose Haygood because we didn't want to do a custom build, and I didn't want to have to pick everything out down to the nut and bolts. Because the first home that we built with, I'll call it the Walmart of home builders, Ryan Cousins, who you all are familiar with.
Ryan,
we did too.
Yeah, you get 3 options for this, you get 3 options for that. So I wanted more than 3 options, but I didn't want to have to go to 15 granite companies. And I didn't want to have to go to 100, lighting places to pick things out. I'm not that picky. I want more than 3 options, but I don't want to go like nuts trying to find everything else. I can live with it. And I have a very handy husband. So, if I don't like the hardware, which I'll tell you what, I picked out a custom hardware with Haygood, and they wanted $1,500 for that hardware. And I'm like, oh, no, we're not paying that.
It's called an inconvenience fee.
Yeah. And I said, guess what you're doing, honey? When you move in, you're replacing all the hardware, dude. So to me, that's the difference. You go custom, then you have to pick everything out, and you have to go to 8,000 places, and you have to deal with it.
Right.
So
there's a happy medium there.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought Haygood was
a happy medium.
Because we were too picky on.
Right.
I think the only thing I was really picky on was the kitchen.
Yeah, well, we knew going in that was
okay.
going to be a challenge, and if we were going to have to reach out to a different supplier, that would probably happen in the kitchen. So we were hoping to get, because we want the island is the only thing that's really stone. Everything else is a quartz.
Right.
We were disappointed we couldn't even find a quartz that we liked in the standard line.
Yeah.
But we were able to negotiate that, and we found something that is still considered standard, but it wasn't in their catalog. So,
right.
Oh, which isn't bad.
But telling us I can't go pick out my slab is kind of really bothering me.
Their process is they're going to send you a picture, but we know.
Yeah.
We had issues with
other things. Landscaping.
Yeah, we haven't finished that yet. We got an estimate that was significantly over their budget when we never authorized
We
that.
had an allowance. We met with I've forgotten the guy's name now from Dirt Nerds.
Yeah, the Dirt Nerds, right? Yeah.
And it was like a philosophy discussion on philosophy of landscaping, and we didn't get into specifics. But thought that he came away with the idea that, okay, we were trying to design to budget. We like to have a longer term plan because, yeah, they're doing irrigation as part of this too. But there's an allowance as part of our home build, and he went 35% over that allowance per shot.
No.
Oh.
We have the same problem, yeah. But a lot of that they said was the bluff requirements. You had to use 7-gallon plants instead of the normal 3 or 5-gallon plants, and the bluff had some.
Yeah, no pine straw. You
Yeah,
have
no
to
pine
use
straw.
mulch.
Right, well, that's part of the POA, that you have to use, I think, mulch in the front.
No, mulch all around.
No, it's just in the front.
Is it
yeah.
just in the front?
Well,
Okay.
it had to
No,
do-
it's just in the front.
That's why that builder, their allowances for, they build everywhere. And then when you get into have stricter requirements, the price went up a little
The
bit,
price went up, yeah.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
the
whatever.
POA has no idea what you do in your backyard, right? I mean,
Yeah.
We haven't even heard from our landscaper still.
Yeah. My dad's having a pool, and that's the big issue.
Yeah, well, the bigger issue is that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. So, yeah.
Robin, you haven't heard from the landscaper either yet, right?
Okay, so
did.
we were the first ones that when that reached out, that went to put our plans in. And the Bluffs said, you have to put your landscape plan to get it approved. So Debbie panicked, and I heard from him. I kept calling him, and I basically said, just put what the old plan that was there, just to get it approved. So, and there was nothing major on it.
Well, what we did is that our house was based upon a model that's down in St. James. So we said, just use the St. James landscape plan, put it on the blueprints, and that'll get the process started. And if we change it down the road, then we change it down the road. But we weren't going to start designing landscaping now. We don't even have electricity and water.
No, but if we needed to get our plans approved, we're waiting to hear back about our plans getting approved, and we have never heard from the landscaper.
No, we
They're gonna
told
have to
Jeff
do
just put the
something.
basic in. He submitted it, with just the basics, just grass and irrigation.
But we still haven't heard from them.
Well, and how long has it been?
Over a month.
2 months.
January.
probably?
January, they
Yeah.
reached out to him, and I've reached out three times since then, and he's never responded.
Yeah,
Who's he?
the landscaper.
Whoever Debbie
Oh.
sent us to.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the plans. The plans, have your home plans been approved?
Well,
No,
we
no,
don't know.
no,
They're
no.
just getting-
We're still in engineering. We need to wait for
Yeah.
engineering to come back.
Oh, okay.
But how are we supposed to-
We just approved the architect plans.
I didn't know that he
2
told them
weeks
to
ago.
do just the basic. 'Cause we've reached out to a landscaper 3 times.
Yeah, and it's, I'm sure it's been really crazy. Emailing is the best way to get to him. He said it. Don't call him. Because usually he doesn't hear it. But email. Have you emailed him?
Yeah, they've all been email, copying Jeff and Debbie and.
Okay.
They said, don't worry about it. They submitted or they're submitting, if they didn't yet, with just a basic, as they did with you, whatever is in the budget.
Okay. Yeah, well, and that's pretty much what, I mean, my question for.
I mean,
all of you
landscaping
guys-
happens organically, right? I mean, you don't,
Yeah.
it's hard to do a whole yard all at once. You start out with the basic, and then every year, every spring, you add stuff, and it organically grows.
No, absolutely. I think the other question I had for those of you who are getting close and doing all this stuff, the biggest concern for me, and maybe, Nadine, I know you and I had talked about this. How do you choose something as monumental as like your kitchen counters without seeing where the light is in your home? Right. So and I know, because, Nicole, you and I have had this conversation about that, but, I have no clue what color is going to look like.
Paint, stain, everything.
So, Anne Marie, have any kind of like insight on something? Anybody have an insight? I know Vicky, when you guys went to go see the house, and you've been in some of you have been seeing these things. Do the colors look different now that the light is in there? Any tips on how to do this? If anybody's built a house before, how to?
We just have drywall now. But even when it was just the sticks, we brought samples of the cabinets in. I didn't have countertop samples because I couldn't find anything that I liked to begin with. But it seems like the positioning of our house, we don't really get a whole lot of direct sun in, which I'm kind of glad about that for heat and air conditioning purposes, but it definitely looks different. Like the one counter or one cabinet that we chose, it almost looked, and it was supposed to be almost like a grayish color. We're having two colors. And in there, it looks so much more yellow.
That's what I'm worrying about.
And so we changed the color on it, but yeah, I mean, the lighting is everything. You really don't know until you can get in there at different times a day.
Yeah.
We took, the last time we were up, which was a few weeks ago, we stole some of the leftover siding that was laying around and brought that home to do some paint samples on the siding pieces, because I wanted to, we left it on our patio at the apartment to see what that color looks like at different times a day. So I don't know. I don't have like great advice other than it's hit or miss, and every time.
Yeah, exciting. We drove around looking for homes that looked like they were proper color we picked out, and we have our own paint fans, and walked up to the house and held it, and sure enough, okay, there it is. So now we can see it on a grander scale. We feel like we made the right choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. We talked to our builder about that, and he said, he can either send us, like, because we're doing some staining of cedar and stuff on the outside, and he said he can send us some cedar pieces to do it here, or when we're down there we can do it, and I bring it right on the lot.
We're also doing a rendering now to try to see like the different angles of sunlight coming into the house and like the shade color on the exterior of the house. It's hard to imagine everything.
Very hard.
It's a lot at one time.
Yeah, Nicole, tell everybody what you guys are doing, because I think that's something that's really interesting that I don't know that everybody knows exists as a service.
So we're paying for renderings. We gave our plans to
Architectural plans.
Yeah, architectural plans to these guys.
And the survey with the.
And we gave them to start with 3 paint colors that we were thinking for the exterior, 3 different color stains.
Roof colors,
3 different roof colors, windows. And so they come up, they basically put your house, it almost looks real. It's a computerized version, but it almost looks real. And then they show it shaded at certain hours of the day and then the sunlight and everything like that to try to help you pick your colorings.
Huge.
Is that through your builder or is that
the selection really quick?
Yeah.
We were between 3 different roofs,
Yeah.
and we had no idea. And right away we were able to X 2 roof colors right out.
Yeah.
It helped.
That would be very helpful, because even with the roofs, it's you see a little patch of it.
Yep.
It looks completely different.
Yeah, even like the stone, like if you're doing stone, everything's stacked on top. If you wanted it spread out, it's just hard to picture everything. So far, we only did the exterior so far, but it's been helpful.
Are they going to do the interior as well?
Probably, I'm going to say.
I mean, it's a process, right? I mean, it's a back and forth. It would be so much easier. I looked into buying the software to do it myself, because the software is a couple $100. It's not a lot of money, but it's very tedious work. So it's a lot easier to have a service do it, but it's a lot of back and forth. They send you these things and you ask for, oh, can I see this Sherman? And you give them the Sherman-Williams, like, I want these paints, and you give them SW 1, 2, 3, 4 and the paint numbers, and they plug it in, and it takes a day and they send it back, and things aren't right. And so it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot. It's not as easy as it sounds.
You get to see a full picture of your house, and you get your vision.
The
You get
learning
to
curve
actually-
for you to do that yourself, to
It's
get
helpful.
the fidelity of being able to see lighting and colors.
Yes.
That's really hard.
Yes.
It's good. Using that software is handy to get a feel for the flow through a room, or how much space, for space planning. But when you get into trying to do colors and lighting, yeah, you need to hire somebody.
Yeah, it's difficult. So, the interior is going to be really tedious. So we're toying with, do we try to do it ourselves, which, is going to be really difficult, or do we spend these hours and hours back and forth with them? Because now you gotta, I mean, just what we do on the outside and the amount of back and forth that was on there, I'm thinking, all right, we gotta do this on like the kitchen. I can't even imagine, you know?
So Karen and I, we went to Sherwin-Williams and we learned that they have an app and it's actually very good. And you can sit there and play with the colors and everything else. And the people at Sherwin-Williams were very helpful.
Okay.
And then also we learned that instead of doing flat, you do matte. And it's the same price. And that way, because flat has a tendency to, you go to wash that wall with any kind of elbow grease, where the matte is. So Sherwin-Williams showed us what the matte is like, and that you don't get that same thing with the matte instead of the flat. So in fact, we were on a vacation in Colorado and we went to the Sherwin-Williams store and we literally picked out our colors in one day.
Good for you, yeah.
No, it's interesting because I'm going to be just curious because that's been the biggest fear, at least with looking at the granite, right? The color, because everywhere you go, it looks different. The same thing. And I have no clue what light is going to be because we don't have windows in that area, in the kitchen area, right? We don't use the same kitchen,
I'm like, I
right?
don't know how dark this is gonna look in there.
So all of our lights coming from the back and
And then
it's
we
gonna
have
be
the
hard.
porch.
And then the doors. So it's going to be interesting to me. And that's why I'm not 100. I'll be curious to hear what you actually see. So we're trying to pick kind of neutrally colors, but I'm not really sure what the answer is to something like that.
It's hard.
It's hard not being in the house, you know?
So
I'm gonna look that. So I have a question. Back when we had the meeting with the generator guy, did anybody end up using him? Have you heard anything?
So Jack, you're
Yeah, no, I've got it. Yeah, we've I have initiated a contract with them with a $500 deposit. Nothing's going to happen for months until we get to a place where at least the home is, well, it'll be more than framed, but nothing will happen for months before we start to meet with them and figure out, getting the installation scoped out and what it will take.
Which guy do you go with, the first or the second? We had
I
two
went
presentations.
first. I went with the generator super solar guy, the
Yeah.
first guy.
Yeah, he was responsive to me. The second guy just never just, he got back to me a little bit. And once I started talking, asked him for numbers, I never heard from him again.
Yeah, the only small glitch, and it wasn't a glitch at all, it's just that their standard contract, I think, suggests that it's like 50% down to get the bid in queue, right? But we're so far out that obviously didn't make sense. And so, he just said there's another thing for $500. That's what I did. So that's all I've had to pay him. Now I may have to pay him another bit when I get closer to it to actually get it scheduled to get it installed. But that's what we're going to do.
And did he lock pricing in? Did he lock with the 500? Your pricing?
Yeah, he locked in the $1,000 off thing.
Good, yeah.
I forget at this point all the terms, to be honest, but we initiated it. Since then, I've wondered whether there's other alternatives. This would be an interesting, never mind, I won't go there, but I've wondered whether there's battery out, alternatives and various other strategies in there. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm happy with what he
Did you ever talk to Ted about the we just got it in our contract with him. Did you ever consider
We
that?
did too. Yeah, that's what we did
I could
too.
probably add it. I guess I could add it, but to be honest, I was past the signing of the contract with Ted, and it's the same price, I think, without any I'm not worried about any price uplift to have Ted project manage it. Right, I'm just going to take it straight from the generator guys. So it's
You're better off with the generator guy just because
well,
that's the thing. So
I mean, I'm not financing it, right? I guess I could with Ted if had put it in the bid and just finance it in the construction loan, but
But you're also getting a contract, right, for service or anything like that, like
Exactly,
they're on call, yeah.
exactly.
Well, what our
Yeah.
builder was doing, he was adding a 20 or 30% management charge on top of
Right,
it.
right.
And that's why I said, no way, I'm not,
No, to
seems excessive.
Joe Solis, what, 'cause I know that Vicky said that you had it included in your build. What kind of generator did they put in?
This is Ann, we got a Generac.
Yep.
Oh, no,
Same with us, same with us.
yeah. we got-
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, we went with Trust Builder. When we did the electrical walkthrough, I mentioned that we're thinking of a generator, and we listened to the Generac guy and the other fellow. And he said, hey, I can do the work. And we dealt with the electrical guy that Trust uses, and everything's been fine with them. And there wasn't a significant markup or anything, so we were happy with that.
Which one did you use, Joe? Which brand?
Generac. But not by the superstore guy, by their own electrical person.
Second guy, the first guy.
Install it.
Yeah.
They install the ATC. Trust will install the ATC and then you just come in and put the generator on.
So are they giving you a service plan, or do you have to go out and get a service plan after a certain amount of time?
We'll probably have to get a service plan, I think the first couple of visits are included, or maintenance, whatever. And then we'll probably land with a service plan. We might even go back to the Generac, the superstore guy, and for the service plan.
All right, so Anne Marie, let's see the crazy dog.
Ah.
I see it's dog time, and the race is and they're hello, baby.
Peter,
Aw.
our Jeter, who's we rescued, our first rescue dog ever. And we thought, they of course told us that he was Lab Retriever mix, because they would never say Pit. And I thought for sure Pit, until we got him home and we watched him systematically scope out every single piece of our property. And I grew up with a border collie. I said, unfortunately, I wish we had a Pit. This guy's got border collie. And they're just nonstop.
I have a pit mix and Australian Shepherd.
Oh,
She is, I mean, she is on guard 24/7. No, not even a butterfly in my backyard. Like, she is just like, it's my yard, get out,
Yeah.
But when our cat goes outside, when he doesn't want to come in, we're like, Addison, where's Putty? And Putty just looks at us like, oh God, because she's gonna hurt him right into the door. She's like, get home.
And that's the thing, a herder, like generally he feel discombobulated because we're sitting in the right spots. Like he doesn't like I usually sit there.
Yeah.
And Mike's there. He will pace like, somebody get this room in order. Wrong places.
It's
Well,
funny.
you know when you've been doing something for too long, when all the dogs, I'm seeing all the little noses are like, okay, I've given you enough space, I've given you enough time. Now it's time for my attention.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's getting late. I am so excited that you guys, is there anything that anybody hasn't had an opportunity? Tim, you've been so quiet tonight.
No, I just, I did have a question about the brag. Like, there's a lot of dissatisfaction out there with some of these builders. At what point is the developer accountable? These are approved vendors. Some of them don't have insurance. I'm just curious, about timing. We heard about this $30,000 upcharge. Like, at what point are they accountable to this? Because I feel like they're just walking on water.
I wondered about that too.
So I based upon what's been explained to me. So, and again, this is and people who have built in different places. So the only way that the builders have become preferred builders is they pay a fee. That's basically what happens. And there's that's why Trust is not a preferred builder anymore for the newer people, because evidently they didn't want to pay the fee. That's basically what I've been hearing. So we
It's
have
not the fee, you have to build a model.
you have to build a model.
Build a
Exactly.
model. Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into that. So the people, the builders that have joined in, they build a model and they pay a fee and they become preferred builders. I am not under the impression that anybody is holding anybody quote unquote accountable. And you're right, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's now, I just heard that Southern Pines, so Ted and also Steve from Coastal Cypress are now both on the committee that does the approvals.
Yes.
Right. The Ted's always been on.
Really,
You know-
all the builders should be on that. They should all be representative.
Well, and
Yeah.
again, so what is the purpose of having a committee if you know, two of the builders are on there judging everybody else's?
Right.
And so
Right.
that
Should be all of it.
seems to be the question that needs to be asked more than what is the process and what is the accountability. I'm not 100% sure how to answer that question, but Tim, I can bring it to the committee because I speak to them and find out what that's about. I'm not under an impression that there is any kind of oversight unless there's a problem, unless there seems to be, you know, an ongoing problem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not speaking necessarily for myself, but you know, this group has super patience and is super like nice about what's going on. But there's a whole nother group, not so much. You know, people whose houses have been sitting for 4 months with no workers out them, that kind of stuff. So I'm not at that point. I mean, I don't even have a foundation yet. I mean, it's been 8 months, but I still don't have a foundation. But you know, I'm just wondering, like, at what point did they need to get involved with some of these issues? Like, I mean, if I got a bill for 30 grand from a builder who didn't tell me about it in advance, I'd send it right to Doug.
Well, that, you know, and again, that's a good point. I'm surprised that the surveys, because don't they have to do these surveys if a lot isn't buildable? You know, that was the thing that surprised me with, you know, hearing that. As far as the delays and things like that are concerned, you know, we're hearing one side, and believe me, I hear all the sides. There's a lot of people who have, or part of our group that haven't been on the calls at all. One of them said that she'd called me and said that she never came on because she didn't want to lay all of her stuff, you know, on everybody else's table, and turn it into that kind of a problem. I think that everybody, for the most part, has some glitches here and there. You know, you start talking about bringing accountability to the developer, and knowing Doug, I mean, and as well as anybody else knows him, he's going to say, hey, listen, I'm not in between you and your builder. That's the contract that you had. So only because that's the way he's going to say it. I've asked him things before, and Janice, you're shaking your head. His answer is going to be, well, that's between you and your builder, and I just sell dirt, right? And my job here is to do that. I sell dirt. Your builder builds your house. And that doesn't mean that's the right answer, what you want to hear. That's just what
I'm not really worried about me, because I think I chose the right builder, and I'd choose them again. I really would. But you know, one of the things about living around here, I mean, I do go over there a lot. I do speak to a lot of people. I know a lot of folks over there. There's a lot of frustration all over the place, not just with one builder or another builder. You know, I'm just wondering at what point, like, do they step up and be like, hey, you guys got to step up your game, you know?
Put a little pressure.
Well,
to get it
I
done.
don't know whether that's on the developer or whether I mean, I'm hearing things that people are having cabinets falling off of walls and.
Right. Well, you've been
my
waiting
God.
for a road. You know, you've been waiting for a road for 6 months. Hey, come
Yes,
on,
we
guys.
have. And I'm
So,
getting,
It's a runaround.
I spoke to Pat, and I called Pat because everyone said, call Pat Nicoletti because she has the information. And I called her, and I got one thing from her. I got one thing from Matt, and I got another thing from my builder.
Yeah.
And none of them matched. They were all different.
And we were all told the same thing, I'm sure, about, I know we were, and I know several other people that we met down there, about the clubhouse. When we went there in 21, whatever, for the first time, we were told, oh yeah, they're getting ready to break ground.
Oh,
That's years, that
But
is
that's
years
Brunswick
away.
County, that's Brunswick County, and all of you have either found out or you're gonna find out. I mean, they're because it's such a popular place to build now, they're just way backlogged and
I totally understand that. And my whole thing always with everything. And when I used to train people, I used to say this, everybody needs to expect problems. That's life. I don't care what you do or where you are, but it's how you address them. So if it was sold that, we have all these great plans, Brunswick County is a beautiful place to live. It's fantastic. It's a little slow. So we're not exactly sure when this is going to get done. That I understand. But yep, they're breaking ground next month. Those are the kinds of things. Listen, be straight with me. Tell me how it's going to be. It's going to be 2 years, maybe 3. Okay, cool. Then in 3 years, we have that to look forward to.
I don't think they really know. I really don't. I mean, I think some things move faster at certain times and other times do. So, I mean, I'm not real happy they haven't started it either, but
They're salesmen. They're trying to sell lots, right? And it's going to cost them X millions of dollars to do that clubhouse, right? And when are they going to do that? Are they going to do that, or are they going to pave a road so they can sell more lots? They're going to develop areas. That's going to be done at the end.
Didn't the property owner meeting that happened in December or something else recently, they had minutes of updates, and wasn't one of the things that the homeowners association fees are going to increase? Is it in 2024 to pay for the clubhouse?
After it's finished.
Oh, I thought it was
Once
next
it's built,
year.
once it's been built, because it's supposed to have started so that it was supposed to be ready by 2024, which is why the date was on there.
Oh, okay.
So
I did see a date because I remember
right?
thinking, wow, this is going to be finished that quickly,
Yeah.
but okay.
Well, I think
The increase.
I don't think it said what the
But
increase.
I would agree with Emery, and it's nice to see the progress reports and the accomplishments that have been made over the past months or quarters, and it's encouraging to see that happening. But it would help us plan our lives better if we understood, what the fog kind of looks like in the future, and giving us information that says be patient is quite fine to me. But don't tell me it's going to be here in 3 months and it's going to be 9 months or 2 years, right? Let's just say we don't know.
Well, that's what it is. They're giving best case scenarios, even in those minutes from the meeting that happened in December, in January. They said, the road was going to be done in January. I mean, that was it. And I remember going to Matt at that time saying, you told me December. And he said, well, we'll be done December. They said, worst case is be January. Now it's here, it's February, and it's probably not going to be done till March.
So I had spoken to Pat Nicoletti before Christmas, like 2 weeks before Christmas. And I said, where are we? It was supposed to have been done. And then they had a paving emergency someplace else so that we were next on the list. Then it was Christmas and then it was New Year's. So now I'm hearing, because, I put it out there. The first person that sends me a picture of our paved road got, a dozen bagels. So everybody went running out there to make sure that the road was paved, and there was no pave. It looks exactly the same now as it's looked for like the last, 2 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, you're jumping the gun a little bit. So now I don't even care about whether the road's paved or not, because as long as you can drive on the road, that's not the issue. The issue
We don't
is
have the electric.
the electric was in, but everybody seems to have a different answer for that. So one person saying your builder should be able to start building. So I called the builder, and the builder's like, they shouldn't be telling you that because that's not the truth. So I called the right person. So I think that the frustration is all around. I don't necessarily know that it's any one person. I think Doug picks and chooses what he plans to do at any given time. I know that there's a brouhaha now about the ponds, that there's been some issues with the ponds in certain areas, and Bragg is working on that. Tim, your question is well asked. I can bring it to Bragg and find out what the policy is, because if there is an ongoing issue with something, people need to know it. This group is wonderful so that people can share the information, and that's great. But not everybody is here all the time, and not everybody listens to everything all the time. I think the conversation about having 2 of the custom builders on the board that approves everybody else's house is a bit of a conflict of interest.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
Right?
yeah, I don't think having any of our names attached to a question or a complaint is in our best interest.
No, and the name,
So
the
I would
names,
never submit a question to that board because I wouldn't want to be retaliated against.
Yeah.
you talk about the board, you mean, you're talking about the board of the board that approves everything?
No, I'm talking about Bragg.
Oh, no, but the questions that go in have nobody's names on it. Now, in other words, if they come from this group, nobody's names are on it. It's just basically the question came out of a discussion is that there seems to be, I mean, it's all over every place. And, you know, I guess what they're basically going to say is everybody's in charge of their own situation, because that seems to be like the answer that we would probably get. So, I don't know. I am assuming if people are actually complaining to, I don't know, the powers that be, if there's enough complaints, it should be looked into. But I would think that the inspectors that are coming in are going to be making commentary. That's the thing that concerns me the most. Is about the quality, just to make sure that everything is being done the way it should be done by anybody's builder. So, but look, so the bottom line is that we all have to we all still need to stay vigilant and keep in conversation with each other. We have some graduates that are going to be, moving into their houses pretty soon. How many people are actually in Leland right now that are living in Leland? Well, you guys are actually going to be in.
Yeah.
We're going to be going around to everybody's houses. So a whole bunch of us are going to be in that week. So Janice, I'll give you guys a call.
Yes.
The Napolis are now. Suzanne, are you guys leaving Friday or Saturday?
We're going in Sunday and then the 19th, and then we have appointments Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
When do you go home? When do you go home?
Friday.
Suzanne?
Oh, you are going home on Friday.
Yeah.
All right. So there's going to be a
Debbie
lot.
had actually, I wasn't too happy. We had called her and she was like, oh no, we changed your appointments. I sent you an email. We never got an email because she never sent it. So then she was saying she wanted us to meet Friday morning. We were flying out 6 o'clock Friday night, and Gary said, I'm not gonna rush it. And then she said, fine, we'll leave it. So it was back to what it was before. Meeting her on Tuesday, and then the design center on Tuesday, and then we were doing everything else Wednesday, Thursday.
All right, so we're gonna try to get something done maybe Thursday. So those of us who will be in town, hopefully we'll get a chance to see each other, and because I know that the Alice Cushman will be in as well, so it'll be very cool. But
Yes.
look, it's getting late. I know everybody is exhausted. I am so thrilled that everybody came. Please keep the conversations going. If there's anything that you need any information about, please let me know. And Nadine, when you
Robin,
pick
can I give a piece of good news that happened while we were on the call?
Yes, please.
Ted hadn't gotten back to me, but my husband got a text from him tonight at 7:25 saying, drywall hung, they will still have 5 days of mud and sand. Kitchen cabinets arrived Tuesday. Tile company will start prep the end of next week.
That's great.
Yay, all right.
Now, it all happens, but yes, I'm happy tonight.
And you know what? And that is a phenomenal way to end. This is all good news. And Nina, find out which tile company that she does use
Yes.
to make sure. And Nicole, the guy that's doing your that program, do they do it for everybody, or is it only people like in your state?
Oh, no, they're just.
I don't even think they're in the United States.
Yeah.
Oh, so so if anybody, so do you want to, at some point, if you want to just share their information if you're happy with it?
Yeah, well, we're on this Facebook page called Home Builders Q&A. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
there's a face, it's so helpful. I mean, it's people all everywhere that are building, and everybody asks a million questions, and everybody posts tons of pictures for advice. And like, even in the middle of the construction, does this look right? Like, it's a group that everybody should join. And on there, if you go in the search bar and just type in renderings, there's a ton of companies that'll pop up.
Oh, okay. So that, yeah, that might be a really good thing. So
Yeah,
it's
nice.
home builders,
Q&A.
Q&A. Okay.
Yeah. Right, isn't that what it's called? Q&A. The website is just so helpful. I mean, the Facebook page is so helpful in itself, because everybody's in the same boat. Frustrations, questions, I don't know what I'm doing, like even picking out tile. I mean, it's everything, you know? And then you see pictures, and like some people have a house that resembles yours, and you're like, oh my God, that's maybe what it might look like, you know? You get
Very
excited.
cool.
So it
Okay,
keeps you
good.
inspired. Yeah.
All right. It sounds terrific. So, and if anybody decides to purchase that, for an extra business, an extra, an extra job or an extra business, let us all know. We'll be more than happy to be your first. We'll be your first customers. What do you think, Karen? Should we find somebody to get that software so that we can all see what our houses look like? Because
Right.
you guys have built so many houses.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
I was.
I'm sorry. Mickey was like, wait a minute. is
Oh,
she
no, I
to
was
me?
talking, I was talking,
waiting
and
for
I was
somebody-
talking to Karen. I was actually talking to Karen.
That's what I thought. And I kept thinking, well, she's not answering.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, because I'm thinking this is our first house we're building. So even though we talked for 4 hours on the phone, Robin, I think you got it wrong there.
Well, you've moved so many different times.
Yes,
So,
that is true.
yeah, it's been really crazy. But if anybody has any other stuff, please keep sharing all your information. Keep sharing all the good news, please, because we love to hear it. And Janice, Janice and Mickey, we're all coming to your house for,
Come on.
There's a lot of people that are going to be moving in that have graduated, and it's very exciting to see, and welcome to all the new people. And I have somebody one of the people who is living in the Bluffs right now has a daughter who is working for a moving company. And yep, and she can move people from
That's
all
what I
over
was
the
just going to
country.
ask you. I
Yes.
didn't understand what that was really about. What was that?
Yes. So what's going to happen is that she's agreed to come to our meeting next month.
Okay.
And just talk about her, what she's able to offer. And she's awesome. And she's the daughter of one of our neighbors, and they built with Coastal Cypress, and Barb has been in there. And I had a really long conversation with her. She's going to put together some information. And the only
Is she a moving company? What exactly is it?
They're a subsidiary of Mayflower. So she's an agent for them. So they don't do, like if you're living in Leland, like they don't move you from Leland into the Bluffs, but if you're coming from another part of the country, they're able to do like that long haul. So she has, she's putting together a lot of information. It's definitely worth it. All of us have to move from one place to the other. And they also do like the short stuff, like if you have to move something and you're not in a rush for it, you can do a container of something. So she'll explain all of that. And if anybody else has, any vendors that they're working with, that's helping them get through, we had started a spreadsheet at one point. I think maybe we need to do that Dropbox again, as more and more people are getting through their build, to start sharing all that information, and definitely do it on Team Reach, because then it stays there, for good. So
I think, Robin, if you could find a fencing contractor that maybe we could do and get group discounts or something with.
Okay.
I think that's something that I know, a lot of us have dogs. So I think it's something that, you're gonna want, as soon as we move in, we're gonna need some kind of fencing.
And it has to be the approved, the approved fencing.
Yeah.
Anybody been working with somebody outside that they?
Didn't they just change that? Now you can't get the wood, it's only the iron?
It's only it's only the
Black iron fencing.
the black. Now, is that also grandfathered in for the people?
No, I don't think so, Robin. I don't think the
I think it's
fencing.
for
is
everybody.
grandfathered in.
It's for everybody?
About the entire property, you can't like just do a black iron in the front and something on the privacy on the sides.
No.
I can't see them monitoring what you do behind your house. I mean, what can't be seen from the street, I'd have a real hard time with an association. Tell me what I can do if it can't be seen from the street.
Your neighbors still see it, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's the neighbors.
It's what
It's-
you, yeah,
and
we're all,
it's the look.
ultimately, we are gonna be the POA, so
Yeah.
not an us and them situation. You really can't look at it that way.
Because, and I think I think that's really what it is. And I would think it was also the curb, because even though some of us are on lots that face, back and people aren't gonna see it, you still see it from the street. And I think that was one of the things that's why there's mulch, you have to do mulch and, and certain things. And these are all really good questions. And all we can do is keep asking the questions and hope for an answer. It's basically, that was the rule of the developer. So you'll put in a fence. I don't think that they're worrying about the landscaping and everything you're putting in the back, as long as it doesn't affect, and as long as nobody else is complaining, or, it's affecting somebody's ability to see around a corner. Because there's been some wonky stuff going on. I mean, the last couple of times I've been down there, there's a lot of crazy colors going on, and a lot of
POA is not reviewing anything.
yeah, but there's a lot. For those of you who've been going down, I mean, Jack, when was the last time you were there?
November. We were actually scheduled to go next week, but the rain and stuff pushed the build a couple of weeks, and so we gave ourselves some space. We're going to be there the first week of April.
Oh, okay.
We're going to go down 4 or 5 days, so we'll be able to see. By that time, we should be fully framed, probably roofed, maybe even wrapped, probably wrapped. So we're going to do our electrical walkthrough and all that good stuff at that point, and then revisit all of our vendors. So it's been a while. We've got a different story. So we have a particular home color that we wanted. Never mind, it's okay. We've got a white house, which there are a number of white homes but we've got like 3 white houses built next to us. So we're not going to be special.
And I think that was something that they had been talking about, but you can't have like 3 the same color houses. That was a whole other thing that was going on. But I mean, when you haven't been there for a while and then you go back, there's some stuff that doesn't make any sense, but seems to.
There's some odd colors.
There are some odd colors. Yes, there are some odd colors. And
You know
some
what
odd
though,
colors.
Robin, I'm trying to embrace that because, especially us Northeasterners, we're not.
Yep.
But, it is Southern. It is kind of cool. Like if you just let yourself, like even interior wise, like they're much more into color and in an elegant way though, it's nice so long as it's not tangerine orange on the outside. But some of it I would never ever do myself, but I look at it and I say, you know what? It's kind of cool though. It has a charm to it.
Oh no, it's just you kind of come around a corner and you have black and white and brown and beige, and then boom, there's just like this electric blue coming out of nowhere.
Oh, you're talking about what I see out of my backyard, blue.
Oh, really?
That blue house?
There's 1 or 2 of them, so it's got to be one of the 2 of them. So, and that's one of those excuses for you. Maybe one of those privacy fences might actually be a really good idea for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, funny story. We met him one of our trips down there. Super, super nice guy, Mark. We only met him the one time. But he saw us looking on the lot and he invited us over, and they had recently moved in. Beautiful, beautiful house inside. And as soon as we walked up the driveway, he said, how do you like the color of my house? And I had been saying to my husband, I don't think they're finished. It's just a primer. That's and he was, I don't know, looks pretty finished. And no. So we walked up and he said that, and I was like, oh yeah, I love blue. And he said, good. He said, because this is called Patriot Blue, and I couldn't paint it I wanted to go brighter. He wanted like a few shades brighter than that, and he got turned down. That's the tone down.
That was the compromise.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, but it's a beautiful house. He keeps everything beautiful. So, you know.
So we're gonna embrace the South. I started signing things, y'all. So and I'm getting there. And then I think Karen and I think we figured out, I'm just waiting to get my bourbon and lemonade because of that. We're coming up, we're trying to come up with a name for it.
It's Lynchburg lemonade.
Bourbon and lemonade. So that's gonna be the new.
That sounds delish.
Yeah, so we'll have a contest to name the new Bluffs drink because we've got to do something Southern. So for those of you who will be moving in, and stop laughing at us, Debbie. You know where you want to be, right on that porch with us having one.
On the porch, but all the Northerners are moving in, so you need a Northern drink. You don't need a Southern drink.
Nah, we've already had a Northern drink. Everything for us is hot, right? It's all warm. It's served in a big mug. What would you like us to? What is a Northern drink? I don't even know what the Northerners drink.
Long Island iced tea.
Long Island iced teas.
Okay, but no one remembers ever drinking a Long Island iced tea. That's the problem with it. Is none of us ever remember how to make them. But it's all good. But you know what, guys? For all those of you who are moving in before we see you the next time, please come back and let us know how everything is. And for anybody else that needs any other information, just, you guys know where to find me. Hopefully I'll see a bunch of you the middle of March, and maybe we'll actually have like electric and water and roads and, all kind of great stuff. All right. So everybody have a great night, and we'll see you guys really soon.
All right, have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.